Good morning from Ghana. My name is Eben, and I'm going to be presenting on missing vultures. So, when you see the picture, the shot, you can see the vulture on the left. I'm sure it asked the one on the right. I learned we are going extinct. Do you agree? And then the one on the right is also short. Okay, so this is going to be my outline. Some facts and statistics on vultures in Ghana, some species, and why are they endangered, or the threats they face, and the importance of vultures in our ecosystem, some recommendations, and then conclusion. So I'm going to ask you this question. Which of these birds would you love to go to an event with? Which of these birds? Parrot or a vulture? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to decide. So I asked a few people around here in Ghana the same question. And then surprisingly, they all chose the parrot. But one was bold enough to tell me that, well, he would choose a vulture to make a statement. Now, let me show you some of the shocking reasons why they chose the parrot. Some say the vulture is ugly. Some say the vulture is demonic. Some say they bring bad omen. They eat filth. They are scavengers. They are agents of darkness. So these are some of the reasons my colleagues, gave why they chose the parrot. And in Africa, we take spiritual things very serious. So they said the ugly, demonic agents of darkness. They eat filth. They are scavengers. Now, in the world, according to Dei Kuma in a research, says there are 23 species of vultures, globally. 11 of them are in Africa, and Ghana is blessed to have 8 of them. And out of the 8, 4 of them are critically endangered. 2 of them are least concerned, and 2 are endangered. Now, the hooded vulture is the most common you've seen here in Ghana. And personally, in my few years on Earth, I've seen the hooded vulture many times when I was a kid. But now it's very rare to see the hooded vulture. So to sight a vulture was very common decades ago. But now you have to either go to the zoo or specific areas before you can sight a vulture. And a great surprise to see a vulture in Accra. It's been very long since I saw a vulture here in Accra and most of the urban areas. It's very difficult to see a vulture. That means there's something going on. Now we're going to look at the critically endangered vulture species here in Ghana. Now this is the hooded vulture in the short, and they were captured in the Mole National Park. The Mole National Park in Ghana is the biggest conservation area and is home to a lot of species. So I have seen this hooded vulture a lot of times when I was a kid, but it's difficult. Now you don't see them. So this is the hooded vulture. And this is the white-headed vulture. I have never seen a white-headed vulture here in Ghana before. And then this is the white-backed vulture. I've also not seen a white-backed vulture before. Now, these are some statistics for vultures here in Ghana. And that's the source in the paper. A team of researchers visited a site, the Mole National Park here in Ghana. And between 2020 and 2022, there was a research, and then they cited, according to the research, 29 to 36 hooded vultures, 25 to 73 white-backed, and then 3 or 4 white-headed vultures. That means the white-headed vultures are difficult to sight these days. Now, you're asking, why are they endangered? Why are vultures endangered here in Ghana? We are saying vulture population has not declined because there are no more heaps of waste in the country. Rather, heaps of filth Ghana is getting out of control. You usually see them on landfill sites, dump sites, dustbins, instead scavenging for food. But we are saying they are not declining here in Ghana because there are no more areas like landfill sites for them to scavenge. But rather, these are some reasons. Habitat loss due to environmental changes. Vultures live on high trees, especially in riparian areas, forest. But now, due to urbanization, climate change, and several environmental issues, the vultures are moving further away from the cities. And as I said, they can be found in the Mole National Park in Ghana, which is the largest or biggest conservation area here in Ghana. Now, people also poach vultures for their parts. And I said earlier that spirituality in Africa is very high. So some spiritualists or fetish request for parts of vultures to carry several spiritual exercises. There's a story of a fetish asking someone to get the whiskers of a leopard. Definitely, you're going to die before you get the whiskers. Yes. And also, there's intentional and unintentional poisoning of vultures. As I said, people see them to be ugly agents of darkness. So sometimes they poison carcasses, so that the vultures can die when they scavenge on those carcasses. Unintentional, there's a book by Rachel Carson, which is Silent Spring. And the author talks about the overuse of pesticides and calls them biocides because they not only kill the pests but kill other organisms around. So there's a part of the book which says the birds were not singing anymore because they were all gone. They died of DDT and other pesticides. So intentional and unintentional poisoning of vultures. Now, we are looking at the importance of vultures in our society. One, they get rid of decaying organisms in the environment. They emit methane emissions, and it's also a greenhouse gas causing climate change. So vultures in our society, they help in achieving SDG 3, which is good health and well-being. They also help in achieving SDG 13, climate action, and then 14 and 15, life on land, life below water, and all that. So they are very important in our society. Now, they remove diseases and harmful bacteria from the ecosystem. One literature I read says the reason why vultures do not have hair on their head is because when they scavenge, they can carry bacteria and other diseases and carry them along. That's why they don't have hair on their head. So when they do that, they ensure healthy lives, and then the air pollution is limited. So that also helps in achieving SDG 3. Now we are saying vultures are also important part of the food chain by cleaning the remains of carcasses. And then also the decline in population indicates environmental problems. Animals have a way of detecting disasters when they're about to happen. Especially when the volcanic eruptions or tsunamis. You could see some animals moving away into land when they detect vibrations in the air. So we say some animals have the tendency to detect, or they serve as early warning signs to detect some disasters. So vultures also, because they are declining population, shows an environmental problem that either we are deforesting, or we are cutting down trees, or we are doing something we are not supposed to do to harm the environment. With all that I've said, we have some recommendations. Education on the ecological importance of vultures. As I've stated above, they help clean up the environment. And as I said earlier, people say they are demonic, they are ugly, they are scavengers and all that. There should be education that they didn't choose how they should look like. They are important parts of our society. We should encourage afforestation projects in our communities. We should plant more trees because the declining population of vultures shows an environmental problem, deforestation. So we should plant more trees. And then we should create awareness that they are a necessary part of the ecosystem and society. They help in so many things. In conclusion, we are saying that vulture population is declining in Ghana and globally. And in Ghana, we have the hooded vulture, the white-headed vulture, the white-backed vulture, and then there are other species. We have the palm nut vulture too. They are declining because of habitat loss, poaching, and intentional and unintentional poisoning. We are saying, in spite of all the negative connotations surrounding vultures, they play crucial roles in our environment, and therefore awareness must be created on their importance. Thank you for coming, and then I hope you enjoyed my presentation.